Don't react, don't explain yourself, just ignore it. This is the most powerful way to respond. You don't need to give away your peace to every person who provokes you, every word that bothers you, or every situation that doesn't go according to plan. You can feel the impact and still remain in control, and maybe that's one of the greatest strengths anyone can develop, reaching the point where other people's behavior no longer determines your behavior. Before we begin, I want you to write this sentence in the comments. I choose my peace. Write it as a decision, as a commitment that you don't need to respond to every provocation, win every argument, or carry a few minutes of frustration with you for the rest of the day. Because two people can receive the exact same criticism, face the same disrespect, or cross paths with the same difficult person. One reacts immediately, raises their voice, loses their patience, says things they didn't mean to say, and keeps replaying the situation for hours. The other feels it too, but breathes, waits, observes, and then chooses the response that preserves their dignity, their intelligence, and above all, their peace. That's not weakness, that's self-mastery, because anyone can react when they're angry. True strength shows up when you have every reason to lose control, and even then, you can still choose what you'll do next. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." For the Stoics, remaining calm never meant becoming cold, distant, or silently accepting everything. It meant refusing to give another person control over your mind. And that's exactly what you're going to learn now. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover 10 Stoic practices for dealing with provocation, conflict, and moments of irritation without allowing them to steal what's most valuable within you. Because you can't choose everything the world will put in your path. But you can choose who you will be in the face of each of those things. And when you learn this, your peace stops depending on other people's behavior and finally begins to belong to you. Attitude 1. You don't need to win every argument. Think about the last time you won an argument. Maybe it was over something small, like which movie or show to watch, or something more serious, an argument with a friend, partner, or co-worker. During the conversation, you probably felt that urge to prove you were right, as if everything depended on it. But did it really? Or was it just your ego trying to protect itself? Needing to be right all the time is often connected to an inner insecurity, as if being challenged somehow threatened our identity. We become so focused on winning the argument that we lose the opportunity to strengthen the relationship. But what if, instead of trying to win, you tried to understand? What if the priority wasn't proving your point, but preserving the connection between you? Is being right worth more than having peace? Sometimes, winning an argument means losing what really matters: harmony, connection, and respect. When you enter a debate just to prove something, you create tension, drain your energy, and damage your relationships. On the other hand, when you choose not to cling to being the only one who's right, you create space for a real conversation. Think about this. If someone makes an unfair accusation against you, the urge to defend yourself can be strong. But is it really worth sacrificing your peace, trying to convince someone who has already decided not to listen to you? Most of the time, the answer is no. Here's a simple example. Your friend says he has the perfect solution to a problem, and you disagree. Instead of turning it into a conflict, you can calmly say, "I understand your point of view, and I respect your opinion." This kind of response diffuses the situation and protects your peace. As Lao Tzu said, "Those who cling too tightly to their own opinions never grow." Letting go of the obsession with being right doesn't mean abandoning your values. It means choosing your battles wisely, knowing when it's worth speaking up and when it's better to protect your peace. Over time, you realize that you no longer need to control every conversation, every opinion, and every reaction. You free yourself from the burden of always having to be the one who's right, and you begin to develop something far more powerful, the ability to remain yourself, even when someone thinks differently. Remember, true strength isn't found in winning arguments, but in knowing that not every provocation deserves a response, not every opinion needs to be corrected, and not every battle needs to be yours. When you feel the urge to prove something, ask yourself, what really matters here, feeding my ego or protecting what matters to me? Because there will come a time when you understand that not needing to win every argument is already a victory. You walk away without having the last word, but you preserve your energy. You didn't convince the other person, but you remained in control of yourself. You didn't win the argument, but you also didn't allow a few minutes of conflict to steal hours from your day. And that's a level of strength no argument can ever give you, the freedom of not needing to prove anything in order to remain at peace. Attitude 2. You decide who is in control of your life. Imagine a peaceful day. You're going about your life, taking care of what needs to be done, moving forward, until someone makes a comment that bothers you. Within seconds, everything changes. Irritation sets in, your mind starts replaying what was said, and someone who may have spoken for only 10 seconds manages to occupy your thoughts for hours. That's when you need to remember something powerful. No one should have that much control over your inner state. You don't choose everything people say. You can't control how they treat you, the tone they use, the opinions they form, or the things they do to provoke you. But there is still one part of this story that belongs entirely to you, how you choose to respond to all of it. And that's where true self-control begins. It doesn't mean you stop feeling. It doesn't mean accepting disrespect. It doesn't mean staying silent about everything. It means not allowing what comes from the outside to take control of what happens inside you. Because every time someone gets to determine your mood, your attitude, and what you do next, you hand that person a piece of control over your own life. And you can take that control back. Between the provocation and your response, there is a small space. Maybe it's only a few seconds, but those few seconds can prevent an argument, a word you would regret, an impulsive decision, or hours spent carrying anger that should never have gone that far. It's in that space that you stop being controlled and start taking control again. Someone can cut you off in traffic. They can disagree with your idea at work. They can make an unfair comment. They can try to provoke you. All of that belongs to the outside world. What you do next belongs to you. That's why developing self-control doesn't mean becoming a cold person. It means becoming someone who is increasingly difficult to shake. You feel the anger rising, but you don't have to obey it. You feel the urge to respond, but you can wait. You recognize the provocation, but you don't have to turn it into a battle. Little by little, you begin to discover a different kind of strength. The strength to remain in control of yourself, even when the world around you tries to pull you into chaos. And the more you practice this, the less power the little things have over you. The provocation loses its power. The comment loses its power. Other people's opinions lose their power. Not because the world became kinder, but because you became stronger on the inside. Eventually, you realize that your peace doesn't have to depend on anyone else's behavior. It depends on who's in control. And when you take that position, something powerful happens. You stop living in reaction to the world and start deciding how you want to live in it. That's true power over your own life, not controlling everything that happens, but never giving anyone else the right to control who you become in response to what happens. Attitude 3. Not everyone will give what you give. One of the greatest sources of disappointment is expecting to find in others the same consideration you would have for them. You help and expect help. You care and expect care in return. You stay when someone needs you and naturally believe that person will also stay when it is your turn to need them. But it will not always be that way. Not everyone will give what you would give, and the sooner you understand that, the less often you will turn someone else's actions into a wound you carry inside. People do not act according to your values. They act according to their own. They do not carry your story, your conscience, your sensitivity, or your way of seeing a relationship. That is why someone can receive so much from you and still give very little in return. They can know how loyal you are and still not be loyal to you. They can receive your attention and still not know how to care for you in the same way. That may disappoint you, but it does not have to diminish you. Maybe this is one of the most important forms of emotional maturity, learning to see people as they truly are and not as we wish they were. Because when you keep expecting someone to be a version of themselves they have never shown you, you begin to suffer not only because of what they did, but because of everything you imagined they should have done. And you can let go of that weight. You do not have to become cold. You do not have to stop helping, trusting, loving, or being a good person just because someone did not know how to give back what you gave them. Someone else's mistake does not have to change what is best in you. Keep your character. Keep being someone who honors their word. Keep offering respect, presence, and consideration when those things are aligned with the person you have chosen to be. But also, learn to pay attention. Those who show you reciprocity deserve closeness. Those who show you respect deserve trust. And those who repeatedly show that they cannot offer what a relationship needs are also showing you how much distance they should have in your life. That is not revenge. It is clarity. Life becomes much lighter when you stop trying to change people and start believing what their actions show you. You stop wasting energy waiting for a message that may never come, consideration that may not exist, recognition that may never be given. And you begin putting that energy where it can create something better, into yourself, into the people who truly walk beside you, and into the life you are still building. Not every disappointment has to end in resentment. Some can end in a lesson. You look at what happened, understand who that person is capable of being, adjust your expectations, and move forward without carrying hatred. Because accepting that someone cannot offer what you would offer does not diminish your worth. It simply keeps you from continuing to look in the wrong place for what you deserve to find in the right one. And maybe that is true freedom, continuing to be a good person without demanding that the entire world have the same heart you do. Attitude 4. Don't lose yourself trying to win others over. It is very easy to slowly start abandoning yourself just to keep being accepted. You agree to something you did not want. You accept what bothers you. You change the way you act to avoid conflict. You say yes when you wish you could say no. You hold back an opinion, put off something you want, and always leave your own needs for later. At first, they seem like small compromises. Until one day, you realize how far you had to move away from yourself just to stay close to certain people, and no amount of acceptance is worth that price. You do not have to make yourself convenient all the time. You do not have to be available to everyone. You do not have to live up to every expectation placed on you, because every time you abandon what you feel just to avoid disappointing someone, a dangerous message begins repeating itself inside you. Their needs matter more than yours. And it does not matter how many people you manage to please by living this way. If doing so requires you to disrespect yourself, the price will always be too high. Setting boundaries begins the moment you decide to stop abandoning yourself. It means being able to say, "I can't right now," without spending hours feeling guilty about it. It means respecting your need for rest, protecting your time, refusing to accept certain kinds of treatment simply because you are afraid of losing someone. A boundary is not a wall you build against people. It is a line that keeps you from disappearing into their needs. And some people may not like it when that line appears. Those who were used to always having access to you may be surprised when you're no longer always available. Those who always received your yes may be bothered by your first no. Those who benefited from your lack of boundaries may even say that you have changed, and maybe you have. Maybe you have finally started respecting yourself. That does not mean becoming selfish, cold, or indifferent. You can still help. You can still care. You can still be there for others. But now you do it without abandoning yourself in the process. Because a lifetime spent trying to win approval can make you forget about someone who also needed your loyalty, yourself. And the more you reclaim that loyalty, the stronger you become. You begin making choices without so much guilt. You stop over-explaining your decisions. You learn that disappointing someone's expectations does not mean disappointing them as a person. And you understand that anyone who truly respects you must also learn to respect your boundaries. From that point on, your relationships begin to change as well. You no longer stay where you have to pretend. You do not accept just anything simply to keep someone around. You do not trade your dignity for a sense of belonging. You begin building relationships where you can show up as your whole self, and there is tremendous freedom in that. The freedom to be generous without being taken advantage of, to love without abandoning yourself, to be present without carrying everything, to help without turning other people's needs into your responsibility. You were not born to spend your life trying to earn a place in everyone else's life. Some people will like you, others will not. Some will understand your choices. Others may never understand them. Because growing up also means understanding that being accepted by everyone can never be more important than continuing to recognize the person you see when you look at yourself. Do not make yourself smaller just to fit in. Do not betray yourself just to stay. Do not sacrifice your peace to win approval. The right people will not require you to lose yourself just to have a place beside them. Attitude 5. Don't carry the weight of everything you witness. Not everything that happens around you needs to happen inside you. In a single day, you come into contact with dozens of emotions that didn't begin with you. Someone shows up irritated. Someone else complains. An argument breaks out. A piece of news worries you. A family member is going through a problem. A co-worker unloads on you the frustration they brought from home. And without realizing it, you can end the day carrying feelings that weren't even yours when you woke up. That's how so much energy gets drained. You witness a problem and keep thinking about it. You hear someone complain and absorb that negativity. You see someone suffering and feel like you need to suffer too. You walk into a tense environment and allow that environment to determine your state of mind. But emotional maturity also means learning something important. You can care without absorbing. You can listen to someone without carrying that person's distress for the rest of the day. You can help without turning their problem into your own. You can witness a difficult situation without allowing it to take up every corner of your mind. That isn't indifference. It's knowing how to separate what deserves your compassion from what doesn't need to become your burden. Because if you absorb every bit of anger you encounter, you'll become angry. If you carry every worry you hear, you'll live worried. If you allow every environment to enter your mind without any filter, your peace will always depend on where you are and who happens to be around you. And your mind deserves more protection than that. The Stoics understood that we cannot stop the world from being turbulent. People will continue to have bad days, problems will continue to arise, difficult news will continue to come, unfair situations will continue to happen. Strength lies in not allowing all of that to make a home inside you. You can walk through chaos and still remain whole. You can have a difficult conversation and walk away without taking the argument home with you. You can encounter someone bitter without allowing that person's bitterness to change your character. You can witness other people's fear without turning that fear into the way you see the future. And the more you learn to do this, the lighter life begins to feel. Not because the problems have disappeared, but because you've finally stopped picking up burdens along the way that were never yours to carry. There are things you can solve. Solve them. There are people you can help. Help them. There are situations that require your presence. Be present, but there will also be emotions, conflicts, and problems that belong to other people, and you don't need to carry them with you to prove that you care. This is a profound way to protect your peace, learning to move through the world without absorbing everything you encounter in it. At the end of the day, mentally give back what doesn't belong to you. Someone else's irritation belongs to them. Someone else's opinion belongs to them. Someone else's conflict belongs to them. You don't need to turn everything you witness into something you carry. The sooner you learn this, the more energy you'll have for what truly deserves you: your life, your goals, the people you love, and the person you are still becoming. The world is already heavy enough. Don't put on your shoulders what was never yours to carry. Attitude 6. Your most powerful response may be silence. Not every provocation needs a reaction. Not every criticism requires a defense. Not everyone who misunderstands you needs an explanation. Sometimes, the most powerful response you can give is simply to remain at peace. That takes strength, because reacting is easy. When someone hits a sensitive spot, your impulse kicks in quickly. You want to correct them, explain yourself, fire back, show them they're wrong. But there is a higher level of self-control. Noticing all of this happening inside you and still choosing what you're going to do with it. That's when silence stops being the absence of words and becomes self-mastery. You begin to understand that you don't need to give your energy to every person who provokes you. You don't need to enter every argument to defend your intelligence. You don't need to explain your choices to people who have already decided to judge them. Some people want a reaction. They want to see you lose your composure. They want to pull you into the same emotional state they're in. They want one word from you that gives the conflict a reason to continue. And when you don't give them that reaction, the conflict struggles to keep going. Silence breaks the cycle, not because you're afraid to speak, but because you've developed enough strength not to speak simply because someone provoked you. That difference is enormous. A person without self-control reacts to everything. A strong person chooses what deserves their voice. And that choice begins to change your life. You conserve energy. You avoid words you would later have to take back. You stop turning small conflicts into big problems. You stop spending hours replaying conversations that never should have taken up so much space in your mind. Most importantly, you begin to realize that not having the last word can also be a way of winning. The Stoics deeply valued mastery over their own impulses, not because they wanted people to be passive, but because they knew that strength without control can easily become weakness. True power isn't responding to everything. It's knowing you could respond and still deciding that it isn't worth it. Of course, there will be moments when you need to speak. Set a boundary. Call out an injustice, protect someone, express what you feel. In those moments, speak. But speak because you chose to speak, not because someone managed to force a reaction out of you. That is the difference between impulse and self-mastery. The more you develop this strength, the less reactive you become in the face of provocation. People can raise their voices, and you don't have to raise yours. They can try to belittle you, and you don't have to prove your worth. They can interpret your silence however they want. You know why you remained silent. You did it because your energy has value. You did it because your peace has value. You did it because some battles can only hurt you when you agree to enter them. And there comes a point when this understanding completely changes the way you live. You no longer feel the need to correct everything, respond to everything, explain everything, or prove everything. You simply choose where your voice deserves to be heard. And when you learn this, silence stops looking like weakness. It becomes presence, control, Confidence, because anyone who needs to respond to every provocation can still be controlled by it. But someone who knows how to remain silent when they could react shows something much greater. No one needs to control your words because you've already learned to control yourself. Attitude 7. Where anger ends, gratitude begins. A bad day has a dangerous ability. It can make you forget everything that is still good in your life. One thing goes wrong. Someone disappoints you. A plan falls through. A comment bothers you. And little by little, it starts taking up so much space that it feels like it defines the entire day. But one bad moment does not mean you have a bad life. That is a powerful reminder, because while your mind is stuck on what is missing, what went wrong, or what disappointed you, many other things are still there. There are still people who love you. There are still opportunities that have not come your way yet. There are still places you want to visit, conversations you have yet to have, goals you can still achieve, and mornings you have yet to experience. Anger shows you what hurt you. Gratitude reminds you of everything that pain could not take away. And maybe that is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude does not mean looking at a problem and pretending it does not exist. It does not mean accepting injustice, smiling through pain, or being thankful for what hurt you. It means not allowing one difficult part of your story to make you forget the value of the whole story. Cicero considered gratitude not only the greatest of virtues, but the source of all the others. Because when you begin to recognize what is still there, your perspective expands. The problem is still there, but it stops being the only thing you can see. You begin to realize that not every day has to be perfect to be worth something. Maybe something went wrong today, but you kept going. Maybe someone disappointed you, but other people stayed. Maybe a plan failed, but your ability to start again is still intact. Maybe you are not where you want to be yet, but you have already made it through places you once thought you would never get through. And that deserves to be recognized too. There is tremendous strength in looking at your own life and seeing not only what is missing, but everything you have already built. The battles you have won, the people you have met, the simple moments that made everything worthwhile. The times when life got hard, and even without knowing exactly how, you still managed to make it this far. Gratitude begins to change the way you move through life, because you stop living with your eyes fixed only on what you still need to achieve, and begin to recognize what you already have reasons to protect. Your peace, your experience, the people you love, the opportunities that are still open to you, the chance to try again. And even on days when almost nothing goes the way you expected, there will still be one truth waiting for you. Tomorrow, you can begin again. Maybe with more experience, more awareness, more strength, more clarity about what truly matters. That is why gratitude does not make you weaker in the face of hardship. It reminds you that hardship was never the whole story. So do not let one frustration make you forget everything you have already accomplished. Do not let one person make you lose faith in everyone else. Do not let one difficult day convince you that life no longer has good things waiting for you ahead. Anger makes you look at what you lost. Gratitude turns your eyes back toward everything that is still there. And when you learn to see life this way, you do not need a perfect life to feel at peace. You just need to remember on the difficult days that there is still so much within you and ahead of you that makes it worth moving forward. Attitude 8. Use every criticism to rise to the next level. Having something to improve means there is still room to grow. That is why confident people do not need to run from every criticism. They listen, observe, filter it, and keep what can make them better. If someone points out a real flaw, you do not need to turn it into shame. Fix it. Learn. Practice. Come back better. If someone offers a perspective you had not considered, pay attention. There may be something there that can broaden the way you see things. And if the criticism is only meant to hurt you, put you down, or provoke you, let it end with the person who said it. Not every word deserves a place inside you. That kind of discernment is an incredible strength. Because there comes a point when you stop dividing the world into people who praise you and people who attack you. You simply start looking at what you can use. Praise can encourage you. Criticism can teach you. A mistake can correct your direction. Rejection can strengthen your conviction. And even an unpleasant experience can leave you better prepared for what comes next. That is the mindset of someone who keeps growing. You no longer need to be right all the time to preserve your confidence. You do not need to be perfect to recognize your own worth. And you do not need to interpret every piece of criticism as an attempt to diminish who you are. You can hear a difficult truth without falling apart because of it. You can admit a flaw without turning that flaw into your identity. You can improve without being ashamed that you are still learning. That is strength, because people who can only keep going when they are praised put their growth in the hands of others. But when you learn to take what comes your way, separate what is useful from what is not, and turn what is useful into growth, it becomes harder and harder to stop your progress. Lao Tzu said, "Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is wisdom." And perhaps some of the most important things you will discover about yourself will not appear in the moments when everyone agrees with you. They will appear precisely when something makes you uncomfortable. When a truth touches a part of you that still needs to grow. When you realize that you can do better, and instead of running from that discomfort, use it. Improve what needs to be improved. Strengthen what is still weak. Let go of what no longer fits the person you are becoming. And keep going, because there will come a point when criticism no longer has the same power to stop you. If there is truth in it, you grow. If there is not, you move on. Either way, you keep moving forward. And that is how a person becomes stronger and stronger, by learning to turn even what could have knocked them down into another step forward. Attitude 9. Don't let anger take root in you. Imagine you're holding a burning coal, ready to throw it at someone who hurt you. But while you wait for the right moment, it's your own hand that keeps getting burned. Anger works exactly the same way. It hurts the person holding onto it more than the person who caused the pain. True strength isn't about feeding that fire, but knowing when to let go. Letting go doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It means choosing to stop carrying the weight of resentment so you can move forward, feeling lighter. As the saying goes, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer the effects. In the end, you're the one who suffers. Think about a situation that hurt you. How many hours have you lost thinking about it? How many conversations have you replayed in your mind, imagining what you should have said or done? Or how long have you been waiting for an apology? Now imagine deciding to stop feeding it. For example, you're at a party and a close friend walks right past you and doesn't even say hello. Of course, that's rude. And you keep thinking about how wrong it was, how you deserved better, and how badly that person treated you. But what if, instead of holding on to the hurt, you chose to let it go? Not because that person deserves your full respect, but because you deserve peace. Lao Tzu said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Letting go also means releasing fear, control, and the need to have all the answers. It means accepting life as it is, imperfect, and freeing yourself from whatever keeps you trapped. Here are 3 steps to get started. First, feel what you're feeling. Pretending it doesn't hurt only delays the healing. Allow yourself to feel it without judging yourself. Second, ask yourself what you can learn from it. Every painful experience has something to teach you, even if you can't see it right away. Third, Come back to the present. The past is over. Only you can decide whether you'll allow it to keep hurting you or not. Letting go is like releasing a balloon. As long as you hold onto it, it pulls on you. But when you let go, it rises. And you feel lighter. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not be disturbed by what is outside your control." So, the next time you find yourself holding on to anger or regret, ask yourself, is this really worth losing my peace over? Whether it's a friend who didn't say hello to you at a party, a co-worker who was arrogant toward you, or a complete stranger who cut you off in traffic. From the smallest things to the ones that leave the deepest wounds in us, letting go is a choice. And the more you practice it, the stronger and freer you feel. The peace you're looking for isn't out there. It begins within your own mind when you decide to stop holding on to what drains your energy. Attitude 10. Learn to live without needing to be accepted. There comes a point when you have to decide whether you'll keep living to be understood by everyone, or whether you'll finally have the courage to follow what makes sense to you. Because not everyone will understand your choices. Not everyone will like the person you're becoming. Some people will disagree, others will criticize you. Some may even distance themselves simply because you no longer fit the version of you they expected to find. And you need to learn to keep going anyway. For a long time, we may believe that being accepted means we're on the right path. We look for approval in people's words, in compliments, in the way they look at us, in the way they respond to us. And without realizing it, we begin adjusting our lives to receive more and more of that approval. We say what people want to hear. We hide what might be judged. We change our choices. We make our dreams smaller. We avoid paths we would like to follow simply because someone might not understand. Until one day, we realize a liberating truth. It's impossible to build a life that is truly your own when every choice you make requires someone else's approval. Your worth doesn't increase when people praise you, and it doesn't decrease when they criticize you. The way another person sees you may reveal their opinion of you, but it can never determine what you're worth. When this understanding starts to become part of who you are, a different kind of freedom begins to emerge. You stop walking into every room trying to make a good impression. You stop measuring every word to avoid being judged. You stop feeling like you have to explain every decision in order for it to be valid. You simply begin to live more authentically, and that doesn't mean ignoring other people. You still listen to advice. You acknowledge your mistakes. You learn from people who have something to teach you. You change direction when you realize you were wrong. But you no longer change just to be accepted. That difference changes everything. Epictetus taught that anyone who wants to make progress must be willing to even appear foolish in the eyes of some people. Because growing also means going through periods when others still can't see what you've already decided to build. Maybe they'll criticize a choice that will make sense later. Maybe they won't understand why you walked away from certain environments. Maybe they'll think you're overreacting when, for you, it's simply a matter of self-respect. Let them think what they want. You don't have to turn every misunderstanding into a mission to prove who you are. There is tremendous peace in no longer fighting for the approval of people who will never have to live with the consequences of your choices. In the end, you're the one who will wake up each day in the life you're building. You're the one who will live with the decisions you made. You're the one who will know whether you abandoned what you believed in just so you could keep fitting in. So choose a life you can respect, a life aligned with your values, a life where your decisions aren't driven by the fear of disappointing someone, a life where you can look back and recognize that you had the courage to stay true to what you believed was right. Some people will walk with you, others will be left behind, and that's part of growing too. You don't have to fit in everywhere. You don't have to win everyone over. You don't have to be understood by everyone to know where you're going. The less your life depends on approval, the more room you'll have to discover who you truly want to become. And maybe that's one of the greatest freedoms anyone can achieve. walking into a room without needing to impress anyone, making a decision without needing to convince anyone, following your own path without needing applause, and staying true to yourself even when no one tells you that you're doing the right thing. Because in the end, growing up also means this: stopping asking the world for permission to live your own life. Not everything that is old grows outdated. Some truths are simply waiting for the right heart to bloom. The Stoic house is where they find you. If these words sparked something in you, leave a like, share that spark, and subscribe. See you in the next reflection.